So the question we are going to ask our panelists this evening is the MSD era now over, or will a really good run at the IPL bring him back to the T20 World Cup team this October? Consulting editor Vikrant Gupta, senior executive editor. I also have Boria Mazumdar with me, as well as Harbhajan Singh. Let's begin with Vikrant. Vikrant, what happened that Dhoni was dropped from the BCCI contract?
This contract runs from October 2019 till September 2020. Technically, he's not played for India post 10th of July last year. He wasn't available for India. He's not played domestic cricket. So he was bound to be dropped from the contract list because you're not very sure whether or not he'll play for India once again. Secondly, Preeti, between me and you, it seems highly unlikely that he'll play for India.
Now, not just between you and you, because we are on.
See, the BCCI told the team management to find out.
Right.
And the team management obviously went to him. If he was very keen to play for India.
So he knew this was coming.
Oh yes, oh yes. Yes, he's Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
Right.
Look at his stature. He knew exactly what's happening. It's just as he's not going to announce his retirement because he thinks that why should he make a grand announcement just because the people want it, just because the media wants it. But Preeti, if he wants to play the World Cup, which is in October, when he'll be 39 plus, he would have been playing cricket. He's just started practicing today or yesterday or day before, I don't know, because the IPL is coming. It's the IPL that he's going to play. I don't think he's going to play for India.
You don't see it happening?
Not at all.
All right, okay. I want to bring you in, Rajdeep. Do you think Mahendra Singh Dhoni still has like one big World Cup T20 game in him, or do you think this is curtain call?
Look, you know, he's a remarkable player, one of the greatest cricketers this country has produced. So who is to say what Dhoni couldn't achieve should he go to a World T20 in October? But I just think for once that while someone like like Dhoni has earned perhaps the right to decide on his own future, the manner in which he has handled it, I think for once he's got the script wrong.
I agree with you.
You know, you cannot be someone who holds, in a way, Indian cricket hostage. You've got to be clear. You know, he can either tell the world that, look, I'm retiring, or say, look, I'm not. I'm still very much there. What's happened is that there are these rumors that have been swirling around. He may retire, may not retire, will play the IPL.
Too much ambiguity.
I think too much ambiguity. And in cricket, you know, it's best to retire when people say why and not why not. You know, you've got to retire when, if you want to retire on your own terms, fair enough. But you can't do it with this ambiguity. You can't do it with this uncertainty. It's unfair.
Look at Rishabh Pant, look at Sanju Samson. What would they feel now? Would they feel secure? Would they not feel threatened? Oh, what if Mahi wants to come back? Oh, what if Mahi is back? So do we get dropped for the World T20?
I don't think you can pick and choose in cricket anymore. You know, even if you are the greatest cricketer in the world, I don't think you can pick and choose when you want to play. If
not at this age.
You know, yeah, and it's unfair on the team that, you know, you're putting the youngsters under this pressure, you're putting the team management, the selectors. No one wants to take that call, in a way, in Indian cricket, to say that they were the ones responsible for dropping Dhoni.
But it's happened. They've taken that call.
No, you see, the reason...
It's a contract.
You see,
it's not been dropped.
They've taken him off the contract because, as Vikrant said, he's not played for the last several months.
Right.
The question is that when you are such a big cricketer, you also owe it to the game, to your fans, to the board, to come clean. This can't be cloak and dagger. This can't be done behind closed doors. You've got to be very clear what you want to play, what are your priorities, and it's, you know, at least you've not even played domestic cricket. So I think it's unfair to the youngsters, it's unfair to India, it's unfair to Dhoni himself. You see, you don't want Mahendra Singh Dhoni to be remembered by the legacy of someone who hung on till the very end. I'll be very honest, the great Kapil Dev, you know, arguably the greatest cricketer by this country, I think in the last 1 year played more than he should have, and because he played, Srinath was kept out of the team. Great cricketers must also know when to
go gracefully.
If Dhoni feels he's still good enough, then he must play right away and play through the year.
Should have not stop playing then, Preeti. If it wanted to play the World Cup, you know, when you age, and you age, sport is something where you can't cheat your age. When you age, you've got to play every day. When you're young, you can take a break and still come back.
You know, I'm going to come back to the both of you because we have three in-house experts who followed Dhoni's game very closely. You heard two of them. I want to cut across to Boria Mazumdar. Boria, do you know more than any of us know? Because MS Dhoni is not talking. He's kept everyone in a fair bit of ambiguity. Is this end game Dhoni?
you know, Preeti, this is a question that even MS Dhoni perhaps doesn't know an answer to. I mean, you know, this is speculation is rife everywhere. Now let's first try and put this in context. What the BCCI has done, I think, is the right thing, because if somebody has not played international cricket from July, then the BCCI cannot give him a contract. It is as simple as that. If MS Dhoni plays the 2020 World Cup, then obviously MS Dhoni will once again be reinducted into the contractual process, which will start in September of 2020. That is point number one. Point number two, does this mean retirement? You know, till about afternoon, from what I was getting from Dhoni's close sources is, yes, you could have said that he may not play for India, but that's when I was told from people, by people who are extremely close to Dhoni and from his camp, that on the 14th of January, he has again started practicing with the Ranji Trophy team in Jharkhand. He has bought a bowling machine. He has got his managerial team to buy equipment, and he has started full-scale practice with the Ranji Trophy team. Now, if he's only planning to play the IPL, will he start practice as early as middle of January when IPL is end of March or early April? Maybe not. So does it still have, you know, or nurturing this ambition of playing international cricket, and that is why he wants to do some amount of domestic cricket, which is why he's starting so early? Again, that is open to conjecture. If you ask me, and this is based on a personal interaction with MS Dhoni over lunch in Delhi, it was off camera, so I can't say that I have footage for that, but it was in Delhi in a hotel where I asked him this question, and at that point in time he had told me that, look, I will start practicing from middle of January. I will assess what my body condition is. If my body holds up, I will then decide what to do. So he had kept his options extremely open. So if you ask me to sum it up, I don't think retirement is on the anvil. I think what he will do is, based on the practice, he will assess his body and then decide if he still has it in him to play for India.
The question is also, is that a tad bit selfish? Because, you know, you heard what Rajdeep said. Is this a tad bit selfish? If retirement is not an option and you're going to continue to try and get back, is that selfish? We're going to ask that question, but I want to cut across to somebody who's played with him on the pitch, and I have Harbhajan with me. Harbhajan, surprised a little that Dhoni left out of the central contract that the BCCI has handed out to the players?
Well, I'm not surprised actually. You know, it's been the case with MS Dhoni. He's been available for the selection for almost a year now, and you know, this was kind of due, and of course, the team is looking forward. You know, without MS Dhoni now, and so is BCCI, you know, that's the reason I think he's not part of the central contract. And Mahendra Singh Dhoni must have told captain or the management that he's no longer going to play for Team India, and that's probably the reason he's not part of that central contract.
You know, but Harbhajan, time and time again, we've heard Ravi Shastri, who said that if Dhoni performs in IPL, he will be back in the reckoning. You just heard Boria say that he's not ready to retire, not ready to hang in his boots. Do you think this could actually happen? Have a great run at the IPL and then come back in October for T20 cricket?
Well, I have also heard about the same thing, but it'll all depend on, you know, how well the IPL will go for MS Dhoni, and whether he actually wants to make a comeback or not. And at the moment, you know, what it looks like, you know, he's unavailable for the selection for India. You know, he doesn't want to play anymore in blues, and you know, we'll see him in yellow, and I hope he'll shine in yellow and continue to, you know, win another trophy for CSK, and that's all I can say. But you know, even if he does well, you know, I think then lot will depend on, you know, how Rishabh Pant will go in the IPL and how Sanju Samson will do in the IPL, and a lot of things will be dependent on these guys, you know, how well they'll play. But on more than that, you know, what I feel, Mahendra Singh Dhoni have made up his mind. You know, he's not going to be available for selection for Team India. So I don't know what Ravi Shastri or Virat Kohli have been conveyed or not, but I don't see him making a comeback into the Indian team, because you know, as far as I know, you know, he played his last game in the World Cup, and that's what I've heard from his close people.
You know, Harbhajan, before I go back to Rajdeep and Vikrant, they've all given what they feel is their reason for Dhoni's silence. There is now a theory which seems to suggest that this is a tad bit selfish of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. As somebody who's played with him, interacted with him, why do you think Dhoni is silent? The last we heard from him was when he said that wait till January. January's come. You have played a lot with him in IPL. You share the same dressing room with him. How difficult is it for someone to read Dhoni's mind? Why the silence, Harbhajan?
Well, that's Dhoni. No one knows what goes in his mind. He's that sort of a character. When he retired, even in Test cricket, no one actually expected, that he will go on to retire after this game. And that's Dhoni. So even in the middle, sometime we used to, wonder what's going to happen, who's going to bowl the next over or whatsoever. That's Mahendra Singh Dhoni, and he would not do anything to please people. Like I'm talking about media, he feels that there's no hurry for him to say in the media, or it's not necessary for him to come out and say in the media that he's retired, but he is retired. Whatever I know from his close people, that he would not look to make a comeback into the national side, and he want younger players to take the team forward, and that's probably the right thing, and we need to respect this legend and whatever decision he have taken, and he have taken in a good for the game.
Harbhajan, sadly what's also coming out is it's not so much as to please people or the media, it's also you owe it to the people. They've got your back so many years down. And I want to take that question to Vikrant, who's with me. Vikrant, somewhere down the line, how do you read this going forward? You've had this massive support of people. Let's just say what happened with Yuvraj. Because when Yuvraj retired and that press conference, he had said that give me that, the BCCI should have given me that one match, where I could take that bow in front of the people who've supported me. It seems here that the BCCI was ready to give it to him, he didn't want it.
But again, that's Dhoni. Preeti, I think he decided at the World Cup, the last year's World Cup was his last. He might have said that after the final, if India had made it to the final or won the finals, he would have said it. This was my last. Remember the test match, the last test match that he played, he was the captain. He saved the test match, went to the press conference and said, oh, this was my last test match.
Right.
So he's been like that. Farewells never really happen in cricket. There's no fairy tale ending, except for Sunil Gavaskar, Saurav Ganguly, Ashish Nehra, and Sachin Tendulkar. I can't recall of a single...
Sachin Tendulkar perhaps was given that sort of, bicentennial, was allowed to play 200 test matches. Even Gavaskar at the end of the day retired when we lost in that World Cup
in the semi-final.
in the semi-final. But he said in advance that was his last tournament.
Exactly. Just the team knew. The team knew that the World Cup was Dhoni's last assignment. It's just that India lost, and the way that they lost, and they saw Dhoni being so dejected that people assumed that he would want to play another World Cup. Now another World Cup, the last World Cup ended in July, and this is in October.
Right.
So which is about 15 months. And in those 15 months you age. And when you do not play cricket, it becomes all the more difficult.
Rajdeep.
Dhoni is an interesting character. I actually interviewed him on record for my book, Democracy is 11. One of the few times he's gone on record. And in that he told me, I asked him, what will you do after retirement? He said, one thing I can tell you, I'll have nothing to do with cricket. In the sense, I don't want to be a commentator.
He's been with his family for the
I don't
last
want to be a commentator. I don't want to play the usual role. Look, this is the most unconventional cricketer we've seen in many ways. He breaks every rule. How many cricketers in the middle of their cricketing career will take territorial army service so seriously, actually go to the front line? So that is the strength of this man. Look, he retired from Test cricket in the middle of a series, announcing
10 short of 100
So you're saying it's not his style to have a packed audience, take that bow in front. It's not his style.
He'll do that in the IPL.
Okay.
The same fans will come in the IPL. He might say, let's say, before one IPL game, that this is my last game.
He is a rule breaker. There are no rules that fit in for Mahendra Singh Dhoni. So
that's why he was a successful captain.
Vikrant says he could well be, let's assume, Chennai Super Kings final in Chennai. They love their Mahi. He is Chennai's he's the Chennai's adopted son. He plays that final in Chennai. He could well retire there. Conventionally, we old style conservatives of cricket believe that you have to play a test match or a World Cup to retire there. Yeah. That's the peak. Right. Maybe for Dhoni, it's the IPL. Who knows? So I think I am willing to give him the benefit of the doubt there. My only thing is clear the air. Now you're in January. I think by next month at least he should tell the world, look, the IPL is my last tournament.
Mahendra Singh Dhoni never went to the media also to say that I'm willing to play the World Cup or I have this ambition to play in the World T20. He never went out. It's just that we were assuming, and then Virat was saying, Ravi Shastri would say something. They were also not very clear.
Okay, I'm going to take final comments. Boria, what next? Do you think he's going to come out and clear the air as Rajdeep put it there? Or do you think in Mahendra, what MSD has been, highly temperamental, nobody quite knows which way he's going to turn?
What will happen from here on is profoundly interesting. I think after 15 odd days, we will have to try and speak to MS to figure out, or his people to figure out where his practice is going, to what extent is he fit, how is his body responding to the rigors of practice in Jharkhand and Ranchi, how is he going or how is he getting along, and if he does have plans to play any sort of domestic cricket in February or March. IPL starts end of March, on the 29th of March. Make no mistake, he's playing the IPL. That's for certain. He's going to play every single match of the IPL, the 14 games for Chennai Super Kings, if his body holds. Will he play domestic cricket? The BCCI would love him to play domestic cricket to get himself back into reckoning to play for India. That is what in the next few days we will have to wait and see if MS Dhoni does make it public that he will once again play some sort of domestic cricket to get himself into groove for the IPL. And if he does have a spectacular IPL, then it's open to conjecture. Just like Ravi Shastri said, if MS Dhoni makes himself available and has a spectacular IPL, it will become very, very spicy.
All right, okay. So Boria's of the opinion, Vikrant, that he'll come back. T20 is what Dhoni is going to look at.
I'll go with Boria then. I'd wish Boria is right. I wish Boria is right.
You wish Boria is right.
I would.
What's your gut?
See, personally, if you ask me, I would still want Sachin Tendulkar to play for India. I would want Dhoni to play for India. I mean, India needs him. Okay. He's got that experience. He's got that skill. Does the team need him?
My gut is...
That's the thing. Does the team need him?
No, my gut is if this Rishabh Pant experiment doesn't work as effectively over the next 3 months...
Then KL Rahul is the next in line.
Then it could be KL Rahul or someone else. Look, if Dhoni has a fantastic IPL, right? And in India, selectors have bowed to public pressure in the past as well. Let's be very clear. If he has a terrific IPL, there will be pressure on the selectors. We want Dhoni for this one last one. But I think Dhoni himself will give you a call in the next month. I believe
you think he's going to call it?
The ambiguity will end in the next month.
Okay.
No, it won't.
Okay.
It won't.
Okay, all right.
See, again, publicly he won't say anything.
Okay.
You wait for the IPL, but he knows deep inside his own heart that he isn't so willing. Now, it ultimately will boil down to two people. In case, let's say, your plan A is not working, your plan B is not working, and Dhoni is your plan C, then two people will matter. Virat Kohli, does he have the intent to call him? And Dhoni, will he listen to Virat?
All right,
if these two things match, anything's
I'm going to take, one line each. So let's just assume that this is curtain call because we don't quite really know it. Rajdeep, what's your enduring image of Mahendra Singh Dhoni?
It has to be, it has to be that six that won us the World Cup. He is the most remarkable Indian story in many ways. To be from a ticket collector to winning that World Cup shot. Watching Dhoni, only Dhoni would sort of win a World Cup with that shot and then appear for a moment completely unemotional. Punching and all in the air.
He was very irreverent.
Irreverent.
That was his strength.
Okay, I'm going to
also became his weakness after a while.
All right, I'm going to end with that. And it's one of those production times where you just feel we should have just had that six that Dhoni threw there winning the World Cup. We don't have it though, I'm afraid. With that, I'm going to go into a quick break. To stay with us, up next is my colleague Gaurav Sawant.